And I was putting money into this thing all the way when it was in 4,000 in March and April. And I was just like, man, where did all my money go? And then December 2020 comes, and I'm like, oh, there's all the money I put away.
There it go. Oh, it's been sitting there the whole. Oh, I missed you. It's been like 3 years. Where'd you go?
Man, I'm over here studying for this exam, stressing myself out, going broke, seeing my money go down, my car's breaking down. I'm just mad at the world. I know I'm right. I'm creating videos. I'm getting 20-something views. Nobody's paying me no attention. I got my hair growing. I got gray hair. I'm not cool at all.
What's going on, crypto cousins? It's your Bitcoin baby daddy here with another episode. If you're new here, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because I make this content every other day or when I feel like it. You know how it goes. So today I actually got CJ the Smart Guy. He's our local crypto CPA. So he's our local certified public accountant, is the highest level, way above me. I'm just a regular tax accountant, but he up here. So I had to make sure to let y'all know to distinguish. Blah. Guys, I'm just trying to make it seem like he's really, really, really cool. But thank you, CJ, for coming on to the channel. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you for having me, man. Like, all accountants are important, that's what I got black accountants, matter, on one of my masks. So you definitely matter, but there's definitely levels,
Yeah, definitely levels. I'm gonna make my riches in crypto though. And we were just talking about before I started recording, just like how difficult the CPA exam is and how long it took you to get through your CPA exam. And you're saying like 4 years, the entire process, but you got through it, and you stuck to it. So shout outs to that, man. I wanted to ask you a little bit more questions about that. Did you have to retake tests after a certain point because it was just taking too long, or like what happened?
Yeah, so the CPA exam, when I was taking it, you got to take, there's 4 different parts to it.
Right.
You got audit, you got regulation, which is like taxes, you got FAR, which is like bookkeeping, and then you got BEC, which is like business economics.
Yeah.
You got to pass all 4 within 18 months. And so when I first started, I just left my job, and I thought I was going to pass all 4 within 1 year, because if you're not working, you should be able to pass all 4.
You should be able
That was wrong. Like after a whole year, I didn't pass not one. I failed both of them. And so
I guess it's the mental. It's once you really realize that you gotta put like 10 toes down.
Yeah, you dedicate your whole life. Like, I quit the job, that was cool, but then I had to discipline my eating habits, my sleeping habits. Can't be going out. You got to, put the ladies aside. You start getting real, rough around the edges, because, you focus, if you focused on a goal, all that's just distractions. And so I dedicated towards it, and I passed my first exam after I created like a study group with a bunch of other people that were studying. And then I passed my next 3 exams, failed my 6th exam. It was the day that Nipsey Hussle dropped the song called Perfect Timing. And I was like, oh, that gave me the motivation. So I came back, passed. It was like, I basically took it to game 7. And that last test I passed with 1 day remaining before I had to retake it, because you got to pass all 4 within 18 months.
Yeah. And
so if I waited 2 more days, I'd have to retake that first one. Which was tax, and the entire tax code had changed. So I was like, man, I ain't trying to.
Yeah, you can't, you can't, bro. Once that tax code changed and you memorize, like, all right, so these people do this, this is the threshold for that. This is the new standard deduction, whatever, blah blah, and then all that gets wiped out. Now we got cryptocurrency, and it's a whole section.
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah.
Damn, but hey, Rob, but you made it through. You knocked it out, and now I can get you on the channel and say, hey, y'all. So I got a crypto CPA right here, and so I just want to talk about how you first got into the space. How'd you first get into crypto and stuff like that, and We'll just start right there.
I actually got an episode called My Journey with Cryptocurrency on my podcast. If you go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts at CJ TheSmartGuy. And essentially, I had watched a movie called Dope in 2015 with A$AP Rocky. And I was interested, so I did enough research to download Coinbase. And they gave me I think it was $25. And I told my roommate, I was like, hey man, download this app, we get $25 free. But then they played us because you couldn't take it off immediately. You had to wait a certain amount of time. I forgot all about it, deleted the app. And in 2017, it started skyrocketing. And Dr. Boyce Watkins was talking. And he actually introduced me to Lamar Wilson. He was on the tech side. And I was like, okay, let me listen more. And then my mentor, Nipsey Hussle, was talking about there was a crypto-friendly city in Amsterdam.
I remember that. But that video is infamous now, dog. Yeah, that video infamous now.
I was watching it in real time because that was somebody I was listening to on a daily basis. So if the interview dropped within 3 days, I'd already listened to it. And so when Dr. Boyce Watkins and Nipsey was both talking about crypto, I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I'm seeing the price. I double major, so finance is my other major. I'm like, yeah, this is real. And so I bought it at 13,000 and it went up to 16,000. And I created a video telling people, I don't think Bitcoin's worth Chevron. And so I sold most of my Bitcoin for a profit. But then it kept going up the next day, and I had this itch, and I was like, what if it keeps going up? So I bought some more at 19, and it dropped, and it went to 13, and I was like, what the hell happened? I'm going broke. And the thing is I understood investing, so I continued to put more money into it. And I was putting money into this thing all the way when it was in 4,000 in March and April. Yeah. And I was like, man, where did all my money go? And then December 2020 comes, and I'm like, oh, there's all the money I put away. There you go.
Oh, it's been sitting there the whole. Oh, I missed you. It's been 3 years. Where'd you go?
Man, I'm over here studying for this exam, stressing myself out, going broke, seeing my money go down, my car's breaking down. I'm just mad at the world. I know I'm right. I'm creating videos. I'm getting 20-something views. Nobody's paying me no attention. I got my hair growing. I got gray hair. I'm not cool at all. And then all of a sudden, COVID, it starts skyrocketing. Now I'm the coolest person in my entire community. And I'm like, wow.
We've been here, dog. We've been doing this.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this. But it's all good. Bro, the funny thing is, even though we're over here, I think we crashing right now, but whatever. We're probably set, we topped out at 2,800 this morning, and all that went down. Now we're sitting at 20. Let me pull up this thing real quick. Move this thing around.
Yeah, where's it at? I want to, I know approximately how many Satoshis I got. So, I kind of sort of know where I'm sitting.
Oh, yeah. So we topped out at 2,800 this morning. We sitting at 26,500 right now.
I ain't worried about that. It's Bitcoin. Look,
it's Bitcoin, dog. It's gonna do exactly what you think it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Bro, you're gonna get lost in the sauce. But so at least so you got into the space, you did a little, the usuals, some person influenced you. You checked it out first, wasn't really feeling it, then you started, then price went up. Price went up. As soon as price went up, it gets everybody to come back.
Yeah.
So now we're sitting at 2,600. Probably gonna honestly, bro, I don't know how far we're going. Who knows how far we're gonna go back down, but I try not to look at it too much, because then next thing you know, you over here counting chickens before they hatch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, when this thing tops out, I'm finna buy it. Man, look, we know we're close to the top yet. We got a long road ahead of us. You know what I'm saying? So you said you want to bring your CPA knowledge to the space. That's how you're trying to give back to the space. So tell us more about crypto and taxes then.
Yeah, so first off, the idea that most people have that cryptocurrency is just private, and it's, a way to, get back at the government. And, that is not anywhere near where I come from. When it comes to the tax space, any income that you receive is supposed to be, reported. And actually, for the first time ever, the 1040 on the very first page is going to say, did you participate or transact or buy or sell any virtual currencies? So they're talking about cryptocurrency on the first page of the tax exam or the tax form. Last year it was on Schedule 1 for capital gains, but a lot of people don't pay attention to the individual schedules. Now it's on the first page. All these KYC protocols that you're seeing where they got to report, your information, the IRS is making a huge effort to track all these cryptocurrencies. And if you if you did do transactions with crypto and you say no, they have an infinite amount of years to, come back with you a fraud because you said no when you did. So it's best just to, be as accurate as possible. There's two different things. You got tax avoidance, which is a good thing. This is how you tax plan to avoid paying taxes. There are plenty of ways not to pay taxes on your crypto. There's plenty of different ways, legal ways. Then you have tax evasion, which is when you try to say, oh, I didn't make it, and you try to hide it, or you grossly do something that's just wrong. They can come back with you an infinite amount of years, lock you up, add tax interest to it, send field agents to your house. We don't do none of that. So as a CPA, I'm going to always say, make sure you report it, but talk to a CPA so you don't actually have to pay taxes or the minimum amount as possible. That's like a brief overview of it.
Okay, big facts. Now, so of course, there are some rumors that go around that says, if you're not making more than X amount of dollars, you don't even fit the what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? It's an accounting term, but it's not
probably capital gains.
No, but if you don't make a certain amount of money in crypto, there's no reason, quote unquote, if you don't make $100,000 in crypto, they're not gonna be searching for you, because what they're really looking for are the people with millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto that are trying to evade taxes, while someone who only made a $5,000 gain in crypto this year, they're not going to be quote unquote hunting you down because you're so small when it comes to that tax bracket that this is just speculation, of course, it's rumors and stuff, but you're so small that they don't spending the resources to get your money for your evading taxes for that such small amount is actually losing money for them.
Now, that rumor makes sense. So I'm not going to say it's not true or that it's false. But what I will say is, just because they're focusing on the big whales and the big fish right now, if you don't report it, they have an infinite amount of years to come after you. So, who knows how they change the laws? They might say, oh, well, you didn't report your, 0.1 Bitcoin, which right now is only $2,000, but then that Bitcoin turns into $30,000 later on, and they got that, that transaction on you, then you got to pay taxes. They can make up whatever rules they want.
What? Say that again. Say it again louder.
They can make up whatever rules they want. The governments change these rules all the time. So if you're not in compliance for that rule for that year, you're just opening yourself up for audit or real additional issues. And trust me, the government wants as much Bitcoin as they can possibly get.
But that's my thing. I don't really think the government wants the Bitcoin, because every time they get it, they just auction it off. And that's what I think, because when the whole I don't know if you know about the whole Silk Road and all that went down, all that. Mm-hmm. What was it? Was it Micro Novogratz who bought those Bitcoins that came off of the Silk Road?
I'm not sure if it was him, but I know about Silk Road and how that went down.
Yeah. And so just speaking on that, how all those Bitcoin were auctioned off by the U.S. Marshals, I believe. And then another set of Bitcoin, I think, is recently, I don't believe it was this year, but last year also got auctioned off, that was also held by another government agency. So I've seen them sell off, but then the whole Mt. Gox hack, I believe they also have some Bitcoin from the Mt. Gox hack as well that they haven't sold off, that they've actually held on to. So slowly but surely, I think they might be tuning their ways, but either or, governments having Bitcoin, that's fine with me. You're another hodler. You're another.
You're gonna make my stash, go up in value. So
you know what I'm saying. But thank you for clarifying that. Just like they can make up any rules they want, and they can come back for you infinite amount of years from that point on. So don't be lying on your taxes. Now, have you been looking into some of these tax softwares like Token Tax or anything like that will essentially import all of your transactions that you've done throughout the year and put it in a nice and literally put it on the schedule? What is it for capital gains and losses? Is that Schedule D?
Oh man.
No, because what are your 11? Where does the income from your 1120s go? 1099s.
Corporations.
No, 1099s. Your income from 1099s goes to your Schedule D, right?
You can put that on Schedule C.
Schedule C, and
Schedule
that's
1
where
is for capital gains.
Schedule D is for capital gains.
I said Schedule 1. That's where like that cryptocurrency question was on last year, was on Schedule 1.
Okay, cool. So you can import your CSV file that they give you, and it'll put it like literally schedule it all in like the right schedule to put all the information on. So I remember I was talking to you earlier about how some of these different tax softwares will, I guess, not reconcile, but not, because reconcile is not the right word, but they will associate certain actions with buying and selling when you're not really buying and selling. You're really doing something else. But I guess in the laws of the US government, it's buying and selling. So like the example I gave you earlier was I was putting my coins in a staking contract. And so I moved my coins from my wallet to the contract, and then I took my wallets out of the contract. And when I looked at my CSV file, it said a sell and a buy. And so that could be right there, a short-term capital gains or loss. But I didn't actually buy or sell. So I guess my question is, have you used these tax softwares before? How accurate have you, if you have, how accurate do you think they are? And have you been looking into, developing your own tax software for cryptocurrency?
Yes, those are some great questions. The first aspect was I have used a software called Coin Tracker. However, like you said, it's not always accurate in nature. Just because you need to know your cost basis. When did you really buy it? If I bought it on, I don't want to use Coinbase because, we got the anti-Coinbase thing going on because they've been treating black people pretty bad. So say if you buy it on eToro, and then you decide to send it to your cold wallet, that may show up as a taxable event on the eToro 1099 when they send it to you. But really all you're doing is moving it from one wallet to another. With US dollars, if you move your money from your savings to your checking, that's not a taxable event because it's still in your possession. It's not income, it's not an expense, it's not anything like that. So crypto, as of right now, that still applies. But most of the softwares, how are they supposed to know? But that's where having a CPA comes in handy, because then you could see, we could track this. We might be able to choose between LIFO or FIFO, first in, first out, or last in, whichever benefits you. And then we could look at your income and try to strategize to make sure you don't pay, or you pay the least amount as possible. So there's lots of different strategies. I think the software, what it helps out most with is organization. Thank you for getting all these transactions in the files, because I don't want to have to go through line by line myself.
Jeez. I think Etherscan, you can download CSVs from Etherscan.
Yeah. And
then some other places, but no, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So you went You said about the first question, then you used a software before. You talked about how accurate it was. Now, have you been looking into your own software, or have you been talking to people about that? Because it looks like it's another, I guess, a nice little niche in the space as well.
Yeah, so that was actually one of my goals when I was studying for the exam. I said, man, I want to create, the software for this, because the cryptocurrency is going to automate, like you talked about with the ledger, it's going to automate a lot of accounting,
Like the next 10, 20 years,
yeah,
accounting's not going to be the same.
It's not really, just like,
it's going to be more tech people.
Yeah, it used to be with the pen and paper. You feel me? You used to have to write the T accounts, and then we got SAP and the ERP systems, and all of a sudden it was like, man, we don't do that by hand. One accountant can do like 5 companies now, 5 subsidiaries or something, and that automated a lot of accountants. They fell to the wayside. Now with cryptocurrency, you're going to see a whole bunch of others fall to the wayside, and really auditing becomes like the biggest thing, because you don't need to bookkeep too much anymore. Like
you don't even need to get estimates. You can get exact amounts now, because it's all on the blockchain, and literally with the click and a press, you can see all the data, and it can be generated in a report. Like, it's really going to become more of a tech heavy accounting, like auditing process. You're going to need to know how to use the software to audit, but the person who actually creates the software to audit is, somewhere back way where in India or something. Yeah.
So the difficult piece to finding somebody who does the tech side, right? So I'm well versed in the accounting area, so it's easy for me to talk amongst accountants.
Right.
I'm well versed in the crypto area, so it's easy for me to talk to people in the crypto area. And so I create this bridge between accounting and cryptocurrency. So I help a lot of people out on both sides. However, to create like a system or a software for it, that would mean that either I would have to be well versed in all 3, which as of right now, I don't know anything about, software coding, or then I'd have to have somebody who's well versed in, either crypto and coding, or taxes and coding. I have to find somebody else who has that focus in 2 different areas, and I might actually have to find 2 different people if they don't know all 3. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would love to create my own software and to have that as another piece to what I do, but I'd have to find that person. So if you know that person, like, link up with me, because that's definitely something I want to do. And, I can provide all the accounting information they need and the way it's done, and, user friendly. I can definitely help out with that. That was definitely something I want to look into, as I already thought about it, but I have to got to find the person.
Bet. Just going back real quick off the CPA. What was your hardest test? Just being nosy.
To pass, it was tax. Because when I worked for the railroad, I was doing bookkeeping.
So the bookkeeping stuff was easy.
The bookkeeping stuff was easier. Tax was difficult because I was learning, and really it was the most difficult because I was learning how screwed up the tax code has been for all these years, and how people been getting away with, all these different things. And I didn't know none of it. And I know most of the Black community didn't know none of it. Adopting kids, just crazy stuff that you learn. Oh, this was a loophole, and then they have to change it.
And then they change it every year.
Yeah. Yep. So that was the most difficult to pass, but the most personality wise was audit. Because even though I passed it my very first time, I despised it, because it was like, you got to be in people's business. You got to, like, I'm do what you do. I help you, but I don't like getting in people's business. So audit from a mental standpoint was the most difficult, because like your English has to be in a certain way. You got to memorize certain things.
Yeah, you have to. It's the jargon. You have to have a certain legal jargon to speak a certain way. Attestation.
Yeah. Don't say that word. I don't want to hear that word.
Yeah. What's your future goals when it comes to crypto and taxes?
Yeah. So for this year, my real goal was to be able to, generate enough revenue to be able to personally, upgrade my living situations, because it was a struggle just to get here. Like I said, my car had been broken down. Now I got a car, it's paid off. I'm good on that area. I got my studios, set back up. I got my clothing line, my podcast. So really for this year, it's just a matter of making enough to really be able to put back into my businesses so I can really make my businesses grow. In the crypto world, really now I want to focus in on my accounting firm. And, see, TheSmartGuy, that's my stage name, but eventually I wanted to have Kelly PLLC or something like that, CPA firm, to where I can really represent people. Maybe if somebody has an ICO, I can represent them in court or talk to the SEC. So I eventually want to get my brokerage licenses as well, so I can start exchanging securities and stuff like that.
Okay, big facts. So you got lofty goals, and as you should, dog.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. Hustle, motivate.
Big facts. So then I guess the last thing we're gonna talk about is, what are your predictions for this space? And we can go into price predictions a little bit, but then after price predictions, I guess we can just go long term, how will this space evolve and change our lives in a sense. So I guess price prediction, and we're just only gonna talk about Bitcoin because that's all we really need to talk about. What's your price prediction within the next 2 years?
Oh, 2 years. Oh man. So when it comes to price prediction, I look at market cap.
Okay.
So I think Bitcoin now is $500 billion right now.
Yeah, half $1 trillion market cap.
Yeah, and then I look to see how many of the big companies were putting in. You got MicroStrategy, Grayscale, PayPal. They're starting to buy into it. So if they put maybe, $5 billion worth of institutional money in there, I think we got to look at it exponentially. So if this year was 5 billion, just straight exponent, just institution that we know about, because I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people we don't know nothing about that's been, we could check, the addresses on Bitcoin to see which one's really been, holding out. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if that wound up getting to, $2 or $3 trillion worth of market cap, because once these companies want to start tokenizing, so that, right now I can't buy Foxconn in China because they're in the Chinese stock market. So I'd have to set up a Chinese brokerage account. I don't have an address out there. I don't even know Chinese. So then I'm dealing with, different language barriers and things of that nature. If almost every company becomes tokenized with, it don't even have to necessarily be Bitcoin. It can be their own token. But since it's being tokenized, Bitcoin becomes an even bigger asset, then I could easily see it hitting, 2 or 3 trillion, passing Apple up. And if it's 2 trillion, then that would mean fourfold now. So that means 100,000, 115 within 2 years. I could easily see that happening.
All right, big facts. And then just what your predictions when it comes to just the space growing in the States. Where do you think this space is heading towards? What do you think? Of course, financial products are the first, Finance 1.0 is going to be the first big disruptor. But what do you think, which industry you think is going to be disrupted next?
Well, I think lawyers are going to have a big issue.
Really?
The accounting field is probably going to be later on down the road, because the financial system, cryptocurrency is probably one of the last, it's probably going to be one of the last industries to really get hit, the actual financial system. When we look at the blockchain technology itself, I think once these lawyers start really understanding how smart contracts work, they're going to replace a lot of paralegals. For what? Now we need to have, kind of like how my bridge is cryptocurrency and accounting, they're going to have legal and coding. So coding now becomes the bridge to almost everything.
Yeah, coding, because everything's going digital. So you need people who understand how things are written and how your apps work. So I guess it's more of not a job is being eliminated, but being replaced by another person who can do the job, but it's just a different person with a different skill set.
Yeah, and what happens is the bar becomes raised, right? So before you could hire 100 accountants because they all got to do these T accounts. then you could say, oh, well, now I only got to have 5. Now, those 5 are going to be probably the best 5 out of the group. They're not going to get rid of your best accountants, you know? No. So then if you only have 5, you're going to pay them more. So it's like, okay, well, if you're one of those 5,
at least you hope they'd pay them more.
Well, they're going to have to. Because they're going to have to be promoted to the CFOs and the, you know, the VPs, because they're the ones with the knowledge. Maybe the bottom line workers don't get paid more. But the ones who rise, the ones that actually can contribute value. So now I think the coding, like I would recommend almost every kid to learn coding. Like learn coding, learn Solidity, learn how to do that, and then chase your passion. Forget college. College don't matter no more. Learn how to code and then learn something that you're passionate about. I didn't have to go to college to learn cryptocurrency.
Nah.
You know, I took a blockchain class at UC Berkeley that was online about it, but I didn't pay for that. It was free. I learned, you know, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Nipsey. I did all that for free. You know, you get paid to learn cryptocurrency on Coinbase. So it's like, forget college. Learn how to code. You can learn that on your own. Consider that trade school. And then, you know, learn something that you're really passionate in. Be that bridge to whatever industry it is. And you're going to be doing exactly what I'm doing. All I am is a CPA, and I understand cryptocurrency. And I put a hedge so far in there. I don't see competition. Like, there's been times where I've wanted to be like, man, is there somebody else who, you know, I can go back and forth on this? But I've only met 3 cryptocurrency CPAs, period, and I'm the only black one. And, you know, my story is so in line with your story in terms of, like, I heard what you say, you know, you bought the dip 2017, you wrote. My first time buying cryptocurrency was that uptick right before it dropped.
Yeah, no, bro, I bought the top. That was the first time I bought that top, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know nothing
I had
but
it
down.
before that, but I didn't bought it. It was free.
Right.
So, I mean, I took my profits like a good investor did. But then when, you know, stuff drops, it's like, you know, but coders, they weren't mad. Like, you know, if you're developing wallets or you're developing, you know, DApps, like decentralized applications, or, you know, even if you were creating online classes because you were well versed in some type of technology, people weren't hurt. And now, in retrospect, the people like you who create all that content, like once you really get some money, and you might already have it, I don't know, but let's say you get enough money, you could say, hey, I'm gonna pay you $50,000 just to go through all my videos and create the best content you possibly can, so that people can see I've been in this game and everything looks live and you can see the progressions, and you ain't got to do nothing besides kick back, because $50,000 to you is nothing to you.
I don't know about nothing. I don't think I'll ever be nothing, but well, you know, it will. I know what you mean.
If you in the billions, think about it. If there's, I know you laughing, but think about it. If let's just say you own 1 Bitcoin, right? Let's just say you own 1 Bitcoin. In 30 years, once the government start to buy it, you're on the other side.
I've been on the other side.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the equities market and stocks is like $92 trillion. If all these companies become tokenized, and that's just 92 trillion, not to mention the overseas markets worldwide. Bitcoin is barely at half of a trillion. So if we put in 92 trillion on top of that, that is 184 fold flip. So if you just have 1 Bitcoin, which I don't know what you got, we don't never talk about our balances, but if you have 1 Bitcoin and you multiply 227,000 by 184, I don't know what number that is off the top of my head,
but it's up there.
That's up there.
It's up there.
That's up there. So, and I could easily see that happening within 30 years. Why not? 30 years ago, Apple was a nobody. Microsoft they were these upstart companies that the oil companies look down on. Oh, you'll never do anything. This is oil. This is, manufacturing. This is retail. We're Ford. We make cars. Like, okay, internet came and said, forget that. You look at the top 5 market caps. You got Apple, companies. Microsoft, Google,
Alphabet.
Facebook, Alibaba, these are all internet-based companies. These are all internet. So now we're on the next version of internet with blockchain. Why wouldn't the next top 5 be, cryptocurrencies?
In the next,
we're at the very beginning of this.
That people don't get that still. Like, we're at the very beginning of this still, but people's mindsets are so now that they're not thinking about 10 years from now. They're not thinking about 15, 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be like 20 years from now, I'm gonna be 50, but I'm gonna be 50 and retired.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt.
I'll be 50 and retired.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I'm gonna work, but you know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that people don't understand, and I want to be able to make sure to articulate that to them. Like, guys, like, this is a long game. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just seeing 20K again since 3 years ago. Yeah. You know, like 3 years I haven't seen 20K. Yeah. Finally seeing 20K again, dog. So yeah, I don't want to hear that. If you're here for the long run, then you're here for the long run.
Yeah.
But thank you, CJ. Thank you so much for like everything that you provided. Thank you for all the knowledge that you done gave us, all the information, taxes, crypto, you got to pay them, easy work. But where can people find you? Where can people get to you and, ask you any type of question that they need to ask?
Yeah, so if you find me on Clubhouse, every morning on Mondays, there's a Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club that was created by Lamar Wilson and Isaiah Jackson.
I see.
And I normally go in there and I'm just the resource, Anybody ever ask any questions, that's the best time to get me because my time is valuable. Like, my clientele is blowing up. So I got to actually do the work. So that's the best time to reach me if you got free questions or something like that. You can also reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram at CJ TheSmartGuy. And if you want to listen to some of the things I'm talking about, I got Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Got my podcast on there at CJ TheSmartGuy. So like I said, CJ TheSmartGuy, that's my stage name. Search me across almost any social media, whichever one, works best for you. And hopefully I can bring you value. And if you want to hire me on, just shoot me a DM or, email me at CJ TheSmartGuy. But typically I like going through social media. So I'm pretty easy to reach. I think that's pretty much the plug I need. I think that's good.
All right, big fact. But guys, y'all know where to find CJ TheSmartGuy. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below, but also reach out to CJ and let him know if you got any questions about crypto and taxes. Other than that, check me out next time. Take it easy. Peace. Yeah.